This is DJ Shy Guy. Stay tuned to Voice It Out podcast for the best talks and the best people.
Yeah. Hi, it's Amrita, and of course, this is the Voice It Out podcast, back with another amazing guest. Now, this time, I've got to reintroduce him because he's been on the podcast before, and I'm sure you will remember him, his name, from pretty much every episode we've recorded in every single season of this podcast. It is Shai Hussain, DJ Shy Guy. Hi, Shai.
Hello, Amrita.
Hello, welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back in our blues and oranges, in our blue and orange office.
Blue and orange. We planned it. We got the memo.
Serious, the chances. It's good.
It's so funny. So thank you so much for coming back. If you don't know who Shai is, obviously he did our jingle. So he is actually a professional DJ, but he's also a writer and wears a lot more hats than those two things. But we'll concentrate on those two for now. So first of all, Shai, I've got to say, you've been up to so much since you came in our last episode, which I think was in season 2. How do you feel in the last 2 years? There's been a lot going on with you, but how do you feel? How do you feel about it? I've got to ask you that first.
It's a big one. I mean, yeah, there was a big move I made just this year in January. So after 15 years, I left the Bombay Funkadelic partnership, which, is the biggest thing that I've had professionally in my life. And it was a big decision to make, but we basically just sort of like decided we creatively were looking for two different things. I was looking for something which we'll talk about later, which is Bolly Day. It just felt like, okay, I need to, I'm not getting younger. Life isn't getting longer. Let's just stick with I'm not getting younger. And I just sort of had ambitions that I really wanted to go towards. But since the last time we spoke, I am still really battling that whole DJ versus writer thing. Last time we went over the conflict of sort of doing so many things, and I had streamlined it. I need to streamline it even more now.
Right. Okay. Well, first of all, I think Bombay Funkadelic was an amazing thing, and I know a lot of people loved it, and you gave a lot to it, obviously along with your partner. And I think it sounds like a really big thing to let go, especially because you've been there from the start. So like you kind of alluded to, what made you leave, and also what in the run up to that did you see that there could be an alternative to you leaving, or what made you make that ultimate decision?
I think when Bombay Funkadelic started, actually my thing as a DJ, being a Bollywood DJ, what got me into it primarily, I was the last person who could ever be a Bollywood DJ.
Really?
When I was at school, I would tell my mom to turn the Asian radio off because I was just stop embarrassing me in front of all of my English friends. What drew me to it was that I would go out to Bollywood nights and they wouldn't play. It would be 50% Bollywood music and probably about 50% Bhangra, and it just felt as if there was a place that called itself a Bollywood night that actually played Bollywood music. And so when we started Bombay Funkadelic, which was a very strange music policy when we first started, because going on from what Jazz, my business partner, sort of had started, it was a much more retro kind of thing. So it had funk and disco and Bollywood. So I was just oh, this is cool. I love funk and disco, and let's go for that. But we went with what the audience wanted, and it eventually became a very the best known Bollywood night. But now there's so many nights who are doing it. What we were best known for, we sort of it just felt I felt as if primarily we ended up pushing the Bhangra element more because we found that there was a growing appetite for Bhangra. But then again, we stripped it back because we felt we were losing our way. And then around the 2018, 2019 period, we realized there was a big passion for South Indian music. So we started going down that route, and we're one of the first to sort of like do North-South night, which was brilliant. But now everybody else is doing it. So I just got to a point where, you know, I had so many different ideas for events. And I also felt there was a massive audience of people who had grown up with me, who now had kids or pets, or they couldn't do those 10, 11 p.m. starts, and they definitely would not stay out till 4 a.m. in the morning. And especially doing like private gigs as well, like weddings and 40th birthdays, 50th birthdays. There's a growing base of people I would meet who love dancing, but they didn't have anywhere they could just say, oh, I'm free on a Saturday night, let's go out and dance, where they could do something, you know, earlier. And that's what I really wanted to push, you know, that's what I first started off at thinking, you know, with the DJing. But then I also, you know, the more I thought about it, I just wanted to redefine the clubbing experience. It just felt as if people would go clubbing to pull, to get drunk, to just basically, it had a very adult kind of, you know, feel to it. And what I ideally want to do with my events, it's not been registered yet, but Shy Guy events. So,
amazing.
But, you know, what I would really like to do is create a like environment for clubbing where people are there for the music, where people are there to have a good time, but predominantly for it to be a safe space for women who want to go out and just have a good time, for guys who, you know, when I used to go out clubbing as a single guy and everything, there's such a pressure of just like go and dance with a woman and everything. But, you know, if you're just a guy and, you know, you want to have a good time, and somewhere where guys who enjoy the music can just sweat and not have to worry about sort of like being reflected on, of just like, oh, you know, I want to have a safe space where people are free to be whoever they want to be, as long as they're respecting everybody else being able to be who they want to be. Yeah.
I think that is actually a really important point that you've just made, that there are a lot of people, I'll put myself in that category, that when I look at, I've always wanted to go to a Bollywood night, like come my birthday or something like that. Let's go to a Bollywood night. They start at 11 and I'm like, okay, I'm like in my 40s. I don't really want to go to a Bollywood night that starts at that time. So I totally get where you're coming from, because there is a generation of us where it kind of just puts us off, I think. So let's just introduce Bolly Day, which you have introduced in the last few months, which is essentially a Bollywood night that's during the day. So tell us a little bit more about that. And also, like you said, because you want to create a safe space, and what I would kind of to take from that is you want people to come who essentially just enjoy the music, want to have a good time, don't worry about who's next to them or whatever, apart from obviously your friends or family that you're bringing with you, and essentially just have a good time with the music. So you've literally, I feel like you've just stripped back the entire experience to essentially what it was when it started, right? Not the, like you say, to have a drink or go and look for potentially a date or something. So tell us more about Bolly Day.
I mean, to be honest, I don't want it to feel like, oh, you can't go and approach women, or, you know, for women to sort of like be like, oh, if you want to find someone, you know, chat to them, be respectful and everything. And you know, but I don't want it to be, I don't want that sleaze element to be there. I really want to cement the sort of like message that this isn't a place for idiots. Yeah, it is. This is basically somewhere, like I partnered up with Gin, Gay Indian Network as well, to sort of like, because again, I've done quite a few LGBTQI like Asian nights, and my like conversation with them have always been like, yeah, very Martin Luther King-esque, but I have a dream that we don't need safe spaces, that people can feel safe to go wherever they want. And I really wanted to sort of like do a collab with them, and maybe still will, where we have, you know, for example, Desi Boys in one room and Bombay Funkadelic in the, Bolly Day in another, and basically show people like there is no difference between the music in either of these rooms. They have the same kind of DJs and the same everything. And for LGBT people to feel comfortable in a straight environment, for straight people to feel comfortable in an LGBT environment. And that is the main thing with Bolly Day. And as it is, I don't want to veer too much away from the Bollywood element, because that is what Bolly Day is. But hopefully it'll be the start of, inspiring other events and nights to try and do the same.
It's so funny because, when you talk about Bolly Day, it just reminds me of when I was at school and they used to have daytimers. So I just feel like even though this would appeal to like my kind of age group, I feel like it should really also appeal to a younger age group as well, because essentially if it's just about Bollywood loving, it can be any time of the day, right? It doesn't have to be a night.
It is, but I think it's about redefining it. I think people still need to go out at that time to understand that you don't have to be drunk. You don't have to, be half asleep to sort of like, really enjoy it. And as a writer, yes, I get my best writing done between that midnight hour, like midnight to about 4 a.m, because I become so lucid and can lose myself in. So I do understand maybe with music and alcohol, you can sort of like lose yourself in the music better. But I think nowadays people are becoming a lot more health conscious. They do want to go to sleep earlier. They don't feel compelled to get totally hammered, especially young people. So we do get, even though we were hoping to target it towards over 30-year-olds, we get a lot of young people who sort of like turn up and they ask for 90s music.
Amazing.
So it's
like the best era.
It really is. Just everything went down since the 90s.
Oh, yeah. I agree. Especially music-wise for Bollywood.
And film. And computer games. But it's really, it's sort of like something which we've started, which thankfully, we are growing in numbers. It's making nowhere near the profit I used to, like with Bombay Funkadelic back in the day. But I've just got to remind myself the reason why I'm doing it. It's, it's going to probably take time to build on it, because even with Bombay Funkadelic, even though I was like, partners, I left the business side to Jazz. I mainly did the marketing and everything. And the sales bit, my first ever proper job was in sales and I hated it. So I can't believe I'm back in it now. But but it is something that, you kind of, I'm having to push myself into, it's, and also you've got to keep reminding yourself that you are giving people an experience that they might love, rather than, come and give me your money, which is the wrong attitude. It is like, I am giving you an experience that you are really going to enjoy and take away with you. So I have to stop that imposter syndrome. Which I
think we all have a bit of that. We all have a bit of it. But I think what you should also remember, from the perspective that I'm hearing what you're saying, is that you are just starting. So, like once you start doing more kind of Bolly days and maybe themed or whatever you want to do, I'm pretty sure people will catch on to it. And word of mouth.
Hopefully.
And also I think you already have a bit of a following, so you can tap into it.
Yeah, but I think people, especially with the amount of choice they have right now, you need to continue to follow them up and keep those relationships going. So that is a learning experience, and it's really bad. But because if I knew this when I was with Bombay Funkadelic and everything, we could have probably been a lot like I could have used that a lot more too. But I'm still with Bombay Funkadelic as their resident DJ.
Okay.
But I don't have the pressure of like create reels and basically just work towards it full time. It's more I can go and do my thing and then come home and sleep, which is lovely. So it's just
How much do you now, I think now that you've started your own kind of thing, even though Bombay Funkadelic, if I can say it right, was your own thing, how much of a pressure do you feel to keep up on social media? Because I feel like in our generation, obviously we've come into social media because it's become a thing as we were growing up, as opposed to we've been born into it, that kind of world. So I think our thinking is probably similar, but I just wanted to ask you, how much pressure do you actually feel to keep it up on social media? That says it all.
Yeah, honestly, it's one of the major things, like, I stepped away from Bombay Funkadelic was because of that pressure to continue to sort of like, put stuff out and but then I have the same thing with Bolly Day. I think the only difference is that not having to ask for, like I can just take those decisions on my own rather than,
right.
I can be as cringe as I want to be. And I think that's the other thing. Like there was a lot of pressure to stay cool and with Bolly Day, it might not work, but I try and keep it as genuine as possible. Like the message is very succinct in that I want people to be genuine. And the only way for that to be is to show yourself as silly as you want to be. And I think, it did really, I was feeling a bit old Bombay Funkada. I just felt, because we were aiming towards a much younger crowd and everything, it felt I can't show myself being too old doing this and that. And I just feel with Bolly Day I can be a bit more authentic.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, and I'm just feel a lot freer to just put things out. It's nice.
That's cool. Yeah. I wanted to just join what you've just said onto a question about identity, because I remember you saying to me that the kind of the nightclub scene has changed so much, and I feel like it's changed after COVID. And I don't know whether it's actually coming up back to the same thing, because I've had so many nightclubs closing and, all that kind of stuff. Do you think that that has played a big part in you introducing Bolly Day, apart from wanting to appeal to the older kind of audience, over 30s? Or do you think that maybe it would have come back eventually, like the nightclub scene, as it was before?
I think the nightclub scene has, it came back with a bang. Like we were never as successful with Bombay Funkadelic as we were like straight after the pandemic. Like we were packing out 700, 800 capacity like clubs, and it was fantastic to be back after such a massive gap of not being able to connect. And so I think the clubbing experience is changing because younger people, first of all, like the expenses, like the amount it costs to go out with the income that we get, our income hasn't gone up that much, whilst as the cost to promoters to like hire out places is keeps getting higher and higher. The venues are getting less and less. They're getting shut down to be remade into like properties. Everything is dependent on bar spend. And when you've got people who are a lot healthier, you're not going to always make that bar spend, which means promoters are going to lose a lot of money on the deposits they put down to make 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 pounds sort of like bar spends. We got super lucky with Pop World, the venue that we have for Bolly Day. Again, another massive advantage was we are not aiming for that 10 o'clock afterwards slot, so they can give us better deals. They gave us no bar spend, which was so that puts the pressure off totally and everything. And please don't take our venue, other promoters. but it's a great venue to work with. So I think like the clubbing, also it's never been easier to become a DJ right now, like because of the AI capabilities of software and of controllers. You can go into DJing without even knowing how to DJ, not just because of that, but because models, like, on social media, you can sell yourself so well in half a minute that unfortunately you will get outed once you do a 5-hour set and people know you can't DJ for shit. But because social media, if you can perfect a routine and sort of like show this is how good I am, so which anyone can do with enough practice and good looks. It's something that anyone can be a DJ now. So there are a lot more nights going on. There's a lot more choice, which means you probably can't make as much. And as a DJ or a promoter unless you can give a different experience to the norm, which is great to see. It means that pressure is pushing the industry into much more interesting ventures with like coffee raves and what are they called? There's like a Bollywood live band where they're sort of like, basically just there's a much more live band experience as well, which is making massive waves. So yeah.
That's pretty cool. I wanted to ask you a really random question. How much has DJing, because I know in the last time you were on, you said you completely fell into it. How much has that kind of formed or not formed or kind of lent itself to how you feel about your identity as a British Asian?
As in the music genres?
Yeah. Or just being a DJ and seeing like different groups and all that kind of stuff. Because I think I remember you saying in the last episode about a flag incident in one of your nights. So just, stuff like that, because I feel like we've got obviously a lot of people from the subcontinent and various other kind of Asian countries in the UK, who enjoy Bollywood nights. And I know that. But how does that kind of show itself for you as a DJ?
It's I am not a massive fan of flags. Sort of like, there's so I wouldn't sort of like say, oh, don't bring that flag into my event and everything, but it would be frowned upon. And if it was, being waved around for longer than a minute or two, I'd just be like, you may need to put that away now and everything. Unless it was sort of like a Independence Day, Republic Day celebration, which I personally wouldn't put on. But I think in terms of the music that I put it on with the mission that people will dance to it and enjoy it. It's not so, and it will reflect the people in the audience. So if I find that there's somebody who's like, so I just did a wedding, which was brilliant. It was sort of like in Spain. The girl was Canadian, Indian. The guy was American, Punjabi, Indian, and she was a proper Bollywood queen and everything. And they were doing the wedding in Spain. So basically the music itself. Also the girl's family was from Tanzania. So I would, unconsciously sort of like thought, okay, so let's find out what's big in Tanzania. Let's see what's big in Canada and like America. Obviously, it's going to be similar to here. But I also thought they're not going to dance to Oasis. They're not going to sort of like, be big on Come On Eileen or anything like that. So let's keep the British stuff out. But, and it's the same with like club nights as well. Like if I find I personally know that somebody is from a particular country, and I have a certain song from there, I will put it in there, I'll mash it in, or, I'll personally know that I have a friend in the audience who I, love a particular song, like Crank It, which is like this house song for my friend Rashi and everything. Like I will put that in there somewhere because, I like making people happy. So especially if it's like an entire audience, that's why I'll put on the biggest floor fillers and everything. But also, if there's a random person who comes up and sort of like says, oh, do you have this track, which I hardly ever play, but they've specifically asked for it, I was like, I love that track as well. Let's try it. Let's try it. So, and
that's cool.
So I love creating joy, which is why DJing is obviously really important to me. So
that's an instant. I think it's an instant joy creator, music.
Instant gratification
in a crowd. Can't really go wrong. So Shai, like I said, you've been up to a lot since we last spoke to you. So first of all, I want to talk about Settling, which is a play of yours which was staged in the Criterion Theatre. A couple of years ago, but I think it was in 2022. Like, congratulations. I remember reading that and I was just like, wow, this is amazing. So that was amazing. What was the experience like for you?
It was awesome. It was sort of like, it was, the West End London and, having your own piece out there and seeing the crowd stand up at the end of it. Sort of like, it was a 30-minute sample, but still sort of like seeing, the crowd stand up and, standing ovation. That was amazing. and the actors doing it so well, and yeah, it was just brilliant to see. Yeah, I wish it would happen again.
How did it actually come about, and also why can't it happen again? Or that's what you've kind of alluded to, but I hope it does.
Yeah, I mean, it happened because there was. So my friend Omar, who you had on this wonderful podcast a while back, he introduced me to the Criterion Theatre workshop, which was basically this scheme for upcoming writers. And I started my journey in writing back in 2003, 2002 with a theatre back in Manchester. So it was theatre. Then it veered towards TV for a bit as a production assistant, and then went into radio. Then my ambitions went far too lofty back into writing for TV and film, where things would just get stuck in script development hell for a while. So back, in 2021, 22, I was like, look, I need to get back into theatre because it's such not simple, but it's an easier way to have things made. There's not as much of a budget involved, and there's a lot fewer people involved. So I applied, got in, and that was the first step of like a new writing. Then they had another, they opened their doors for the Criterion Development Scheme, which was if you have a piece that they believe in, that you would develop it to a first draft. So the first 30 minutes. And they really enjoyed that. And then they had another scheme, which was showcases. So basically, not just for that round table of writers, but just generally anyone who's been part of those schemes the last 10 years are open to sort of like submit their play to sort of like have their first 30 minutes sort of like put on in the Criterion Theatre to an audience. So thankfully, I got in on that. Got my first choices of actors who I was really happy to have got. And director Samir Bhamra, who is... he's
obviously the best.
Yeah.
He's the best.
He is totally awesome and does awesome work all the time. So, thanks to Omar and to the people at Criterion, and Samir and all the actors. So that's how it got made for those first 30 minutes. Following that, I had contact with Felix Moss, who basically was one of the Criterion's development people, who also played the one of the main actors in my play. He was just like, look, let's develop this into a feature, into a full-length script, and let's get it made. And so what I discovered, it didn't, continue after a year because there's so much that I do, I cannot keep on top of deadlines. And that is something I really need to change so quickly because not just for settling, there was another massive TV project that I had, which I feel is a total winner and has so much massive potential. Which again, because I missed, a couple of deadlines, the producer, after 4 years of working with him, he sort of like moved on with other things. As I think, and the last time we met and everything, I, had a lot of things to say about the industry, but you should always self-analyze yourself as well and be like, actually, there's a good reason why, there's some good people you're working with. They are moving on to other things. They believe in you, but they may lose that faith in you if you're not delivering on time. And I may have the ideas, I may have the skills, but there's that timeline you have to keep to.
I do get what you're saying, but like I said at the beginning, you wear a lot of hats. So in order for you to concentrate on one thing means something else is falling, I would expect, right? So that's part of it. I think you're a really creative person, and ever since I've known you, I've known that. But you're right, it is one of those things where maybe you need to concentrate on something, but because something is going on somewhere else, maybe that's where your attention is, right?
Yeah, I do need to really look into that whole ADHD thing. Like there are certain, I mean, it seems everyone's self-diagnosing themselves with ADHD these days, but like the amount of things that come up on Instagram is just like, yeah, that sounds like me. Oh, yeah, that definitely sounds like me.
Yeah, so, maybe just get it tested.
Yeah, so maybe it might just be a, fix there, like, I don't know about medication and everything, but there are ways that you can actually, make things easier and better. So, yeah, I still need to, it's life is a work in progress. You've got to keep on self-analyzing and thinking, okay, maybe I need to do better here. Or but at the same time, pat yourself on the back of just like, actually, you did really well there. And yeah, otherwise you're just going to drive yourself loopy. Always look back.
I was actually just about to ask you that do you do that as well? Like you actually call yourself out, fair enough, if you've done something, that you missed something or whatever it is. But do you do it the other way as well? Like you do actually give yourself credit for the stuff that you should get credit for. Do you?
Not as much as I should.
Okay.
And for that, thankfully, my girlfriend Sangeeta helps me out a lot. And just like, reminds me. And also she's also, I keep talking about Bolly Day. She is a massive part of Bolly Day. She's basically my partner for it. Though my idea, she sort of like does all of the organizational side and reaches out and everything. And it's really, important to have those people like, supporting you like emotionally and mentally and everything. And it doesn't have to be another half. My parents were, very helpful. My sister was, has always sort of like had my back on that side as well. And the dog, my sister's dog is, it's you are a sum of all of this and everything, and it's important to have good people supporting you for sure.
I think that gives you the well-roundedness in a way, especially when you're beating yourself up, because I think we all do that.
Yep.
Can we talk about Company Sahib, which you are developing into a novel? That's another notch on the belt.
It is. Again, on the one hand, it's just like, oh my God, you've done so much, Shai, you're great. It's just like, dude, just focus on a one or two. But it is so difficult because so with Company Sahib, again, 2008, it goes back to that time.
Oh, wow.
I pitched it to Screen Yorkshire on a development scheme there. And they really loved it. And they sort of like said, develop about 30, was it 30, 40 pages or something? But the head of Screen Yorkshire said back then, just, write 30, 40 pages and, we might be able to get you some development money for it. And I was such an idiot. It was just like, I've been writing scripts for free for 4 years. Next time I write a script, I want to get paid. And it's just like, and even now I'm still writing scripts for free. So it's just like, so I should have really sort of like, went for it back then. But, I once, again, I missed that boat. But 2 years after that, I did expand it into a feature length, and I continued rewriting it with potential, near sort of like wins. There was a competition called Mumbai Mantra in India where it got like shortlisted. And then 2020, that was a massive, big sort of like kick because I applied it for Black. What was it called? I applied it for the Blacklist script writing competition, which is like the best unproduced Hollywood scripts. And it got through to the final 5 on that. And I just thought, okay, there is an appetite for this 100%. And I was just like, but with its historical thing of, set in 1788 Hyderabad during the East India Company, people don't have a budget to make those kind of historical films. Yeah. So, like most of the films that are made from that kind of history is sort of like they are novels first. So I'm like, right, I'm going to adapt this into a novel. And that's what I spent the pandemic doing. I basically, wrote a chapter every couple of days. And finally, I finished it. A first draft novel. Yes! Yay! And then I didn't really do much with it because the doors opened and DJing was back on and everything. But I mean, I applied to a few competitions with, the first 10,000 words and redrafted that over and over. But I found writing competitions, actually any competition can be a bit nepotistic of just like people go for names that they come across a lot. But then as a film, I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to share, so I'll just say there is an actor from a big Netflix Indian serial and everything who was at a networking event I was at.
Amazing.
And he sort of like said that he was interested. And so I sent him the script and his team sort of like said, yeah, we're really interested. So, it's back on the table. But again, because I have Bolly Day going, I have Bamba Bridge, which is near sold, and I have Company Sahib again, which has massive eyes on it right now. And I have all these private gigs that are taking me to, I've just got back from Spain, but then tomorrow I've got Coventry, day after that, Nottingham, day after that, back in North London.
Sounds like you're spreading yourself too thin.
I really am, but I don't want to miss out on any of these amazing opportunities.
The thing is, I think it is a trade-off. It's always going to be a trade-off. You miss this for something else. Mm-hmm. So maybe those are the decisions you kind of need to try making.
I do, and it's so difficult though, because with the DJing, it is instant gratification. It's like, just one night. That's not going to make a massive difference, but they all go on top of each other, and I think, I may need to just say no gigs for 2-3 months.
Yeah.
And then basically just shut myself off and sort of like say, right, one gig. Sorry, Bolly Day.
That took a while, didn't it? That took a while for you to change from 0 to 1.
Just one, because I need to keep that Bolly Day train going.
Yeah. So maybe just concentrate on the Bolly Day.
Yeah. And then just for
a couple of months.
I need to really just say, look, just the writing. But even with the writing, settling Bamba Bridge, Company Sahib, it takes time to perfect these properly. And
I mean, if you've got interest, without perfecting them, if that's how you're going to look at it.
Yeah, you're right, actually. Yeah, Company Sahib might be the one I should just throw myself behind totally right now. But settling is so close. and Bamba Bridge, I just need to get that script deck done for my agent and he can send it out. So but
get on it. Get on it.
I know. I need to stop the butts as well. What can I say? Big butts.
What can I say?
And we'll end it there.
We will end it there. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to have to come towards the end of the episode. Mm-hmm. And as you know, we have a set of this or that. So are you ready?
I am.
Just remember, you can explain them if you want to. You don't have to. It's entirely up to you. Okay. Passenger or driver?
That is such an easy one. Passenger. Always passenger. Thank you, Sangeeta. Passenger.
Okay. Young at heart or old soul?
Young at heart as a DJ, old soul as a writer.
Okay.
As a DJ, I'm just like, let's go, everyone, party time, live for the moment. We are young. But
when it comes to writing,
writing is just like, come on, everyone, come on, let's just look around the world. Let's take account. Let's open our eyes and ears and take account.
Yeah, that sounds good. Plan it or wing it?
I've always been a wing it person, especially that wedding in Spain was total wing it. But that was because of the clients themselves. They were very much wingers. I should start planning more.
Okay.
Actually, that's my biggest advice for if I could speak to myself, even though I know my younger self would not listen, it was give yourself a 5-year plan, a 1-year plan, a 6-month plan, and do not get distracted. But yeah, I wish I was a planet. Pluto.
You still can be, maybe. Okay, playlists or podcasts?
Podcasts.
Amazing.
I should say playlists because I'm a DJ and
I think you would say playlist.
But podcasts, it's just there's so much out there to learn.
Yeah, it's
I am
true.
a sucker for knowledge, especially the guys who you get on this show.
Oh,
Which camera? Yes,
nice.
that one. Yes, they have a lot of amazing people.
We've got more to come, including you. Okay, DJing abroad or DJing at a regular event?
I don't know, regular event, you really build a rapport with people.
Exactly.
But I love DJing around. This year, because with Bombay Funkadelic, I was very much committed to just Bombay Funkadelic. It's been amazing to reach out to different audiences, different people, different music. Actually, I'm going to go for abroad, even though it doesn't have to be abroad, just, yeah.
It's a different feel, isn't it? It's probably a different feel altogether.
It's always a different feel. And I love building those relationships, not just with the audience, but with the different promoters. And, you get to do different things all the time. Variety is a spice of life.
Of course it is.
I'm Indian, so obviously we love spice.
Okay, the last one is original or remix?
Originals. Again.
Yay! Originals.
I mean, obviously I'm all my stuff is remixes and everything, and I love matching things up, but I want to know the lyric. I want to know that the lyrics are coming, where the lyrics are coming. I want to know I'm going to jump and dance at the point at which I want to jump and dance.
Yeah, because you're so familiar with the track or whatever.
Exactly. And honestly, that's what we're trying to do more with Bolly Day. It is more about sort of sing and dance to all of your favorite tracks. But then, back in the club environment, I am like, oh, look at what I created here. Look at what I created. It's
a bit of both.
It's good to have different places to do different things.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Shai, it's been wonderful as usual talking to you on this podcast. And I do feel like it is a complete contrast to the first time you came on, like you said. But I think you have got a lot going on, and I hope that some of it comes to fruition in a positive way and doesn't get stuck, as you've said.
Thank you.
Thank you again for composing our amazing jingle. Please share your socials. Where can we find you?
Mainly at DJ Shy Guy. So that's TikTok. Why do I come up with TikTok as a first one? That's like the least busy one. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. But yeah, seriously, just call me. It's fine. I'm not giving you my number. You'll find it online.
There you have it. There you have it. I have no idea what you just said. But anyway, you can just call him. Yeah, so thank you so much. And obviously I want to say thank you to you in person again for our jingle. And this is Amrita from the Voice It Out podcast signing out.